Okay, we're going to talk about continue in the context of loops. So, first of all, let me just run this in non-debug mode so you can see what it does. This is from 153 in your text, exactly. I'll just use that example. So this is the output, 1, 2, 3, 4, big, 5, big. So you'll notice that after 1, after 2, after 3, you don't have a big, but after 4, you do have a big, and after 5, you have a big. So let's see why that is. First of all, notice that numbers is a string, even though it's called numbers, and it starts off with nothing in it. And then in the loop, what you do is you're not incrementing numbers by I or adding on. You're not accumulating the I to numbers. It's not a number, even though it's called numbers. It's a string. You're concatenating numerals onto the end. You're appending. But keep in mind, the confusing thing is that you are also appending a new line. So a new line is a character, and a string could have a bunch of new lines in it. So what that means is, for in theory, not in probably also in practice, you could put the entire contents of a book with new lines and formatting, all the things that are ASCII formatting or Unicode formatting anyway. You can squeeze that all into one string, and then you say, okay, print the string, print book, and it will print out the whole book with the new lines and everything. So it looks like a book that you read, and it won't be all in one line, in other words. So that's what's going on here. You're going to have a 1 new line, 2 new line. So when you print it out, it looks like it goes down the screen, even though it's just one string. I wanted to make that clear because I think that can be confusing to students at the beginning. But anyway, so just stepping through this, we start off at 1. That means we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because less than 6 is what 5 is. As soon as it becomes 6, this is false, and the loop stops. And if that's like a little too fast or whatever, listen to it again, or just wait for the debug, because we'll step through it. Now, as long as it gets to this statement and the I is 1, 2, or 3, it will execute continue, which what does continue mean? And this is the whole point of the video, really. Continue means skip the rest of the body of the loop, but stay in the loop. So what's the rest of the body of the loop? It's just this statement right here. Here's the end of the loop. This curly brace symbolizes that. So it will skip appending big as long as you're on 1, 2, or 3. As soon as you're on 4, this becomes false, and it won't continue, which means it won't skip, and it will append big. So let's just work through that with debug to see how it works. So I'm going to hit F5, and we stop at the breakpoint, which I set on this if statement, and we see the I is 1. And the current value of numbers, by the way, is 1 new line in that string. You see it appended the 1, the numeral 1, and it appended the new line. 1 is less than 4, so it should continue. Let's see what happens. We'll step F11, and you see that it's on the continue line now. So at the current execution, it's saying, I am about to continue. When you hit F11 again, I will have continued. Let's see where it goes when you continue. You can see it goes back up to the beginning of the loop. It's going to increment I and check it and all that kind of stuff, and then it's going to do the next iteration of the body. So here, incremented I does the check, then it starts the body of the loop. This is where it's about to append the 2. So we see the current value of I is 2, and it has not yet been appended to the numbers string because that's still 1 new line. So you hit F11 to go to the next line, and you see at this point that the 1 new line 2 has now been concatenated to the string, and I is still at 2, of course. And after you execute this line that we're on, you should see that the new line has also been appended. So 1 new line, 2 new line. And it's checking to see if I is less than 4, which it is. So what does that mean? It means it will go to the body of the if, and it will execute the continue, which means it skips back to the top of the loop. It skips the big. So I'll do this a little quicker because I think you guys probably have it now. 3 is also less than 4, so it continues. At this point, we are, I think, at 4. 4 is not less than 4, so this should not continue. And instead it will be about to append big to the number string. So if you look down at the bottom where it says numbers, you can now see it's 1, 1 new line, 2 new line, 3 new line, 4 new line, big new line. And we're at the end of the loop, which means we go back to the top, increment. I think we should be at 5 right now. 5 is not less than 4, so we do not continue. Instead, we append another big new line. Then we're at the bottom of the loop, and it goes up in increments one last time. So it's about to go from 5 to 6. Now it is at 6. It's checking to see if 6 is less than 6. Is 6 less than 6? No, 6 is 6. So this is false, which means it goes to the very last thing, which is the console outside the loop. It goes out of the loop because the condition was false. And it goes to console dot write line. It's going to write out that string, which is what I've shown you before. I'm going to go ahead and execute with F11 and bring over the console window so you can see. This is the result of printing out numbers in its current state. This is its current state down here where my mouse arrow is, my mouse pointer. It's printing that to the screen. When you print this one new line with a bunch of new lines in it to the screen, this is what it looks like, because the console has been programmed to take the new line character and actually print on the next line. I think that covers continue. This should be the last one for chapter 4. I'll check and make sure, so I might make a liar out of myself if I make another video, but otherwise I'll be moving on to chapter 6.